we're slowly turning into a harsher country of, harsh policies that attack LGBTQ individuals, harsh policies that attack women, harsh policies that continue to let guns flood into our communities that takes the lives of young Black and Latinos every day. And this harshness, I think, needs to be combated by a little bit of sweetness. If I'm going to dedicate anything, any of my energy or my life to anything, it's trying to make this world a little sweeter. I started organizing when I was 16 years old in my high school in the South Bronx. I started organizing clothing drives for homeless people who didn't have warm clothes in the winter. Since I was 16, a lot of my passion has been around community service, community organizing, giving back. Unfortunately, my senior year of high school, my friend was shot and killed. Since then, my community and my school really started advocating for gun reform. It didn't get much coverage or attention. A couple months later, the tragedy in Stoneman Douglas happened and the world was suddenly paying attention. Although this tragedy happened in a very affluent community, I knew that we couldn't have a conversation about gun violence without talking about the stories of Black and Latino young people who are shot and killed almost every day in America. I founded an organization called Youth Over Guns. We organized a rally and a march on June 2nd, 2018 across the Brooklyn Bridge, where we had 10,000 young people come out and advocate for solutions to end gun violence in these vulnerable communities. Since then, I joined up with March for Our Lives and traveled the country, almost 60 cities and 30 states, advocating for gun safety reform, registering young people to vote, and making sure that the country is engaged in the fight to end gun violence.
Gun Violence Awareness Day was something that everyone recognized, but we didn't have an entire month that was dedicated to raising awareness surrounding the issue. And Charlie really brought that to the forefront of people's minds and wanted to make gun violence awareness something that was discussed both at the state level with the governor and state senators, and then also down to New York City in particular, but across the entire state. And so because of that, he wanted to really promote the issue and bring an increased awareness this year, in part because there's been a massive rise in gun violence. And we've seen a number of mass shootings this year, more so than in previous years. And so because of that, he thought it was more important than ever that we raise awareness and that we really bring this issue to the doorstep, so to speak, of politicians and make sure that we were doing everything that we could.
Gun Violence Awareness Month is an issue that the firm is actually really passionate about. And Charlie King himself, somebody who, from his time organizing as a young Black man in New York to now, he's always been advocating for gun violence prevention. And now leading the New York City firm, he makes sure that every month on June, Gun Violence Awareness Month, the firm is doing something to amplify the voices of victims, amplify the voices of advocates, the voices of mothers who've lost their sons and fathers who've lost their child to gun violence.
Mercury Public Affairs, we put a great team of people together, and we began working months before Gun Violence Awareness Month itself, which is in June, to align mayors. So we had 6 mayors, including the mayor of New York, Syracuse, Buffalo, among others, to get together and have a collective press conference and call for action. We've worked with the governor's office on limiting the flow of illegal guns into the state, and with the mayor's office on that same issue. We worked to light landmarks orange and brought together organizations from across the state, across the city, to collaborate on the issue, to talk about it, and to raise it on their own social media pages and through the public channels they had.
These issues exist because of inaction. These issues exist because there's a lack of conversation. I truly believe, and I've seen it around the country. I've seen it in the 60 cities that I've traveled to and the 30 plus states that I've been to, of young people, when they speak up, when they protest, when they demand, their local elected officials, their government representatives listen. They must take action. We're the next generation of people who will be leading companies, who will be leading industries, and who are going to be the ones that carry this economy forward. We are the next generation of Americans, and the truth is, if we do not start speaking about the issues that's impacting us as young people today, like gun violence, like climate change, the rise of cost of living, inflation, these are all issues that we need to be active about. We need to be vocal about. We need to continue to use our voices to demand change. If we don't do it, then we pass things on to the next generation. Issues that we can solve today, issues that we can solve within our own lifetime. And I think the goal as people, besides living our lives and treating our neighbors right, is also ensuring that we fight the battles that are necessary so the next generation can have even a tiny bit of a better life than we did.